Hey guys, if you want to see how I go from this to this to this, make sure you stay tuned. Howdy guys, welcome to the cave. I'm Mark and you're watching Blue Street Customs. If you're watching this, you're probably curious about what I'm going to do and how badly I'm going to screw it up. Because I've never done this stuff before, and it should be quite interesting. Probably good for a laugh. Got some reference photos of some tube chassis and roll cages and stuff like that, mainly from like Chevelles and Novas, things like that. Roughly the same body style. Now, I spent some time, and didn't want to bore you with it, but I've taken the stock factory chassis that came with the model itself, and I've drawn it all out, right? I also did a side view of it. You know, good thing I took drafting in school here. Let me zoom in just a little bit for you, kind of see what's going on. So we've got the bottom view, top view, whatever you want to call it. We also got side view. Now, I've relocated the center axle because in the body, in the frame, it was too far forward. So I relocated that. Tire is now centered in what would be the wheel well. So everything's good there. I also kind of pre-built the 350 engine block just so I can locate things here and figure out exactly where stuff's going to go, you know, so that I can build transmission, cross members, things like that. So I've already started. Got myself a little tea light candle here. So I've got myself a little tea light candle. I've started cutting up a few pieces, and if this is too light, which I think it is, I'm going to re-outline in black here so that you guys can see what I'm doing. But I've taken some styrene rod, right, and I've bent it for the front frame, so that'll be kind of like so. And this piece will sit right behind it, kind of like that. Now they'll sit upright, obviously, you know, kind of like here. Now I'm going to do something. I got some tube here. Now I'm trying to figure out exactly what sizes they are. I don't remember. This rod actually fits inside the tube. So I was thinking to make this a little easier, I marked where these front rails would be on this crossbar. Now I'm going to cut off a little piece, and I'm going to glue that on there, like so, right? So that this can just slide right into it. Now, when I do the firewall section and the upper tubes, because there's going to be tubes that come up and back to the firewall, I may do the same thing, put another tube higher up, so it'll be one here and one here, and everything will just slide right into the firewall, because that firewall will be part of the roll cage sitting on top of this tube chassis. So I'm going to cut off a couple pieces of this, get them glued to that, get these fitted up nicely, and then we're going to start making kind of the rest of it that fits inside. Because right now what I'm making is these two pieces. I'll have to make my cross member. This piece here is actually going to sit back here, and these ones here will be like that. Got me? All right. Now the back ones are going to be a little smaller, so I'm going to be using this 2 mil. I believe this is 4 mil square. So the 2 mil is going to do all the back ones. Now, of course, that'll have to, if you can see this here where it actually goes out and then continues back. As you can see here, it actually starts inwards, right? Starts inwards and then moves outwards. Well, I'm going to take it and make sure and just go straight back with it to be able to give me more room. Because if you remember, these tires, they touch the frame right here. Right? So I want to take it so that they move straight back. Sit more like that, which will give me a lot more room in here. All right. This one's going to be somewhat simple because I have to off of this bar here, which will be right here, right? It's going to kind of come up. We use the candle to heat it up and bend it. I'll draw up a shape, and then it's going to come up, across, and then back down, and then continue, right? And later on, once the roll cage is in, it'll be, you know, a small piece that's going to go up here, and then it's going to go up to the top of the roll cage, following as closely as possible the contour of the body. So it'll end up inside, but it'll come up and then across right to the roll cage. Now that there will probably be a round styrene tube. I have to check to see if this is the right size or not. I think this is only 1.5 mil. Yeah, I think it's 1.5 mil. And I'm thinking I need at least 2 to 3, or 2.5 mil. So I'll see what I got. I know I have a bunch of stuff on the way, but I will also check references of what actual roll cage diameters and stuff are and convert that to the size of rod that I need. So let me get this finished up drawn and start putting some of it together, and then I'll be back and I'll show you where I'm at. Okay guys, so here's where I'm at. Now, sorry I haven't done a whole lot of recording and doing a lot of this off camera. So it's kind of stuck down to the paper right now, which is fine. So here's the chassis so far. All right. Now, I know some of it's probably hard to see, but you know, I've got some sidebars on, things like that. Now, I've also started the front suspension, as you can see. All right, got the front suspension. Now, something else I'm working on here. As you can see, these little lower control arms. Now, I'm using bits and pieces of other vehicles, you know, leftover parts, whatever. Okay, let me zoom out just a little bit here for you. How's that? Anyways, so we got a front cross member and spindles from a different car. Now, here's the upper control arms for that same car that it's from. Right? Hard to see, but whatever. Now, it's obviously the wrong shape for what I need. Sits up way too high, all kinds of different things. So, I'm just using it as a basic shape, right? And I'm making this. And I started out with, I think it's 3/16 tube. And cut a couple pieces. I'm using them for the ball joint caps, right? Then I'm taking, I think it's 5/32 rod, and I'm making the arm parts, these parts here. So I got one for there, you know, making the rods. Then I think it's 1 mil, or yeah, 1 mil rod. You know, it's a little thinner. 1 mil rod, and cutting off a couple more of these little tubes to make a control arm swing point. All right, this little control arm swing point. Now that'll get glued on at the end of the bars, and that'll make my upper control arm. Okay, I had a way to bring this up. Here, put it on this for you. That's basically what it's going to look like. Okay, so I got to glue that together, obviously. Now when that's done, that'll sit on top of here. All right, like an actual upper control arm would normally. Right, kind of like so. Now I'll have to make, I'm going to use, I think it's 3.5 mil tube, 3.5 mil tube. I'm going to notch it a little bit. You can see that right there. See that it's notched on the end. Now, I don't know what heights I need yet. I'll have to finish these first and kind of glue them on or prop them up somehow so I can figure out how high these standoffs need to be. And that will go from the roll cage or the front bars, and the control arms will glue on top like a standoff. So that's where I'm at. That's what's going to be. I'll get some more done and then I'll be back and I'll show you. Alright guys, well, I changed up a little bit of what I was going to do. I was going to use the round tube to make standoffs for my upper control arms. Now the control arms I made, I actually had to shorten them, so I cut off this tiny little piece, right, that was on the end of it, put a new ball joint in it, and changed the geometry of it a bit, because it was sticking way too far in, and I have to compensate for my inner wells, right? Make sure that they're on the inside. So by doing that, I also changed what I was going to do for standoffs. So what I did for standoffs is I took some of this, this 1x1 square rod, and I built up on it, as you can see in here, right down in here. Okay, so I still got to glue these down, but that's fine. That's easy enough to do. Then those will be solid in there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I traced out some brackets for the 4-link section. This is what I got down here, so you can see that's what I got, that shape. So I got to cut 4 of these out, and those will fit right in here, one on each side of the square tube, right? And that will be where my 4-link bars will attach to. So that's where I'm at, and I'm going to get to it here. And as you see, I've got them traced out. Can't really see this one, but it's too faint, but there's 3 of them there. So I'm going to keep sanding these away so that they're all exactly the same size. When I've got that done, I'll come back and I'll let you see how I'm putting them on. Alright guys, well, as you saw, I changed up how I was doing these little side pieces. Alright, I was going to do 2, then I started looking at it going, it's going to be way too thin to try and make a piece for my 4 links. So my 4 links are just going to go on the inside, And then I'm going to use the other two pieces afterwards to put them in and have a crossbar going right across. And they'll link onto that. So we'll get that done afterwards. So that's just a little thing. I did straighten out these bars. I had to break them free and move them up so that everything was flat going across here. I got the front suspension done, as you can see there. Right. So the front suspension's done. I still got to do the shocks, but we'll get to that. I will have to modify the inner fender wells to clearance them a little bit. Not a big deal. In the next video, I'll do the shocks. I'll do my transmission cross tunnel, or transmission cross member, my drive shaft loop, and probably get to doing the floor pan. So if you're liking what's going on here, make sure to subscribe, like, and share the video. If you have any comments, leave the comments down below. Also, check out my Instagram and my Facebook. I post things there quite often, so you'll get a little sneak peek if you go check them out. Links for them will be down in the description. I love to hear from you guys. Well, this will be the last video before Christmas. So, from me to you, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Make sure you and your family stay safe. So until next time, later.